welcome each and every one of us to our town hall meeting with the Commissioner of Police. I know many of us have attended this kind of event with past commissioners of police in Lagos. We try to make it a regular activity as much as possible. It is a means of interacting with the police so that we continue to affirm that the police is actually your friend. The Commissioner of Police is here today so as to close the gap between the police and the people. This is Lagos Country Club, Commissioner, sir. We have a diverse membership. We have every professional you can think of represented in Lagos Country Club. As you can see too, Nigeria is well represented here. Just as Lagos State is peculiar, Lagos State has everybody represented. Lagos Country Club has everybody represented.
CP HAKEEM ODUMOSU holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in English language from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, a Bachelor of Law degree and Master degree in Peace and Studies Conflict Resolution from the National Open University of Nigeria. He also holds a Master degree in Public Administration from Lagos State University. Other degrees include Postgraduate Diploma in Security Management and Operations, Advanced Diploma in Law Enforcement Administration, and Higher Diploma in Terrorism Studies from the University of Lagos, and Postgraduate Diploma in Public Relations and Marketing from Nigerian Institute of Journalism. CP ODUMOSU was enlisted into the Nigerian Police Force on 3rd March 1990 as Cadet ASP and rode through the ranks. It is worthy of note that CP ODUMOSU has a vast experience in operations, investigations, and administration. As a young officer, he served as operations officer at the following divisions: the Sokoko, K2, and satellite divisions, as well as the Area D Command, Mission Lagos. He was the chairman, Lagos State Task Force on Environmental and Special Offences, Governor's Office, and outside Kenya. He equally served as the officer in charge, Pensions Office in Edo and Ogun States. He was in charge of Research and Planning Department, Kaduna State Command. CP ODUMOSU was one-time commander, Rapid Response Squad. That is the squad that chased out the armed robbers from the state. Lagos State Commander and Area Commander, Akwanga, Nasarawa State. He was Assistant Commissioner of Police Operations, Western Ports Authority Command, Lagos, and Area Commander, Agodi Area, Oyo State. He was Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations and Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration, Department of Operations, Police Force Headquarters, Abuja. He was Commissioner of Police, Department of Research and Planning, and Commissioner of Police, Inspectorate, Department of Training and Development, Police Force Headquarters, Abuja. He served as the Commissioner of Police, Edo State, and later Commissioner of Police, Finance and Administration, Department of Operations, Port Headquarters, Abuja. He was the head of the enforcement unit of the Presidential Task Force on the restoration of law and order on Apapa Creek Club, Lagos. CP ODUMOSU, being an ardent writer, has written numerous poems, articles, and books, among which are 1. Principles of English Grammar, an analytical coursework of modern grammar. 2. 1005 objective questions and answers on English language. I wish I had this when I was writing my exams. The price of indiscipline. CP ODUMOSU belongs to various professional bodies. He is a fellow, Institute of Corporate Administration and International Institute of Professional Security. He is an active member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police and a member of the Institute of Public Administration of Nigeria. He is also a multiple award winner. CP ODUMOSU is a member, Lagos Country Club, Ikeja, and is blessed with He is happily married and blessed with children.
Highly overwhelmed. And I just sit there as a pool without gun by the club. Because it was real ambush. I never knew that I was coming to meet this. I just thought I'd just come around. The first time I came around before the doctor, just for that. Let me come around with my officers. And let us just say, what we do, what can we do now to assist or to add more to the security of, because I know that most weekends or when activities go on in this club, never before I had the opportunity that I have now of becoming Commissioner of Police. So maybe the task force now, maybe the RRS, I know that this club is always choked up. And that was where one led to the barricade of the turning point by this road there. But it's always a problem when the barricade was there. What was suggested there? In order to alleviate traffic. So let me come down with my officers now. So let us share ideas. Which area do you want police now to come in? And where do we really want you to come in? Because we need to work in synergy. But what has been established now is more than what I anticipate, and I thank God. Yes, I didn't like it for it. But one thing I've observed, I never knew that the club is as big as this. It's as big as this. So I drove my car for the management. And the administration of the club, so everybody has a sense of belonging. And that what makes the club tick. I pray that you continue with this. Because every section there is a chairperson there, every section there is a committee there, so there's a management in every section. And every members of the section now has a sense of belonging. I drove my car for that administration. I'm seeing in practice what I learned. So in theory, when I was having my master's in public administration, and to climb it all, it is a family club. Yes. A family club. It's a family, it's a club where nobody will have hypertension. Yes. I'm not saying that everybody. Yes. As if only Nigeria can learn from the club administration, the club cohesion. Yes. The cohesion in the club is unparalleled. That's I know. There are so many other clubs. So many clubs established now maybe for political reasons. This purely is social. No matter your level of sociality, you must have your belonging there. So nobody comes in here now and says that I don't feel belong. You must belong to one thing or another. And this was I really appreciate. And with my own little God's contribution, I will add more to it. And start coming. Okay. Security wise, we need to give thanks to God. It has not been easy. But it has been made possible with your cooperation, with your assistance, and more importantly, with your prayer to us. We know what's happening in the country generally. And there is no society without crime. But in Lagos, the populace has been a serious backbone for us in making Lagos more secure. One advantage I have is I had the opportunity of serving in various cadres of. So that means the opportunity to know the geography of Lagos. I can easily map Lagos. When you mention HAKEEM, when you mention Obuchi, Kudu, so talk about Badagry, or talk about I know the type of crime that could happen there. The same thing talking about the Victoria Island, so we're going to Bekuleki Acts, so we're going to Ajaxis now, I know. And that one has given me a lot of opportunity, a lot of advantage in policing Lagos. Generally, Lagos is safe. Comparatively, Lagos is safe. After the 6 states of the Federation, Liberal Capital Territory, I'm going to go that Lagos is the safest. Because when you look at the indices. Let us talk about population of Lagos. Let us talk about businesses in Lagos. Let us talk about the volume of money transactions that go on in Lagos. Let us talk about the concentration of foreign nationalities in Lagos. When you take all these indices together, we now know that Lagos is, so when I say that, put 2, 3 West African countries together, they are not up to Lagos. There are 3 West African countries. So when you compare all these things that goes on in Lagos, we know that Lagos is safe. Businesses keep growing in Lagos. Many organizations, both federal and state, from other parts of the country now, coming to Lagos. You go to the hotels, they are all overbooked. All the businesses are overbooked. All the halls are overbooked. So when you go now, go to the internet, all activities, because Lagos is safe. And that has increased the GDP of Lagos, has increased the economy of Lagos, and has given the government to a lot of resources now to do more in terms of infrastructural development of Lagos State. Kidnapping is what they're trying to rear its head in Lagos. So past 2 months now, we actually set up kidnapping, but God willing now, which was advanced by the kidnapping of ABM split. But God give us the glory. We are able to get on top of it. We are able to liberate the people that got in touch with that. And after liberating the victims, we went after the perpetrators. And they are in our net. In the course of the night, 2 of them lost their lives. So we got 5 of them arrested with the weapons recovered. We did that. So that to show to them that don't come to Lagos. Yes. You come to Lagos, we get you. Yes. That's it. That's the message. And since we've been in Lagos now, the economy has been going on. There has never been a single bank robbery since HAKEEM on board in Lagos. That has given the economic section now confidence. I will say it. The banks at the end of the year will declare billions profit after tax. But if the economy, if the security is not conducive, that will not be. You cannot do that. So for them to have conducive, secure environment to do that, for the market woman now, going to your market now, so for the capital now doing his own, so for those that are doing petty businesses along the line, and they are doing this, feeding their families, is because they are in security. If there is no security, there cannot be any progress. There cannot be any progress once there is no security. So for this, I want to keep on appealing to the public. We need information. We are back on community policing. Community policing is just synergy between the police, we that you are paying our salary, and those that we are policing, providing security. In every area that you have, the community policing has assisted. I want to employ you now in your local environments. Try as much as possible to let your impact effect in terms of security. Many landlords, proud to the issue of this kidnapping, we discovered that kidnapping came up because the cultists, the land grabbers, who are using the men prior to the election, when the election came and left, they got them abandoned. And they have no choice not to go. And they know it's difficult for them now to go to the banks. That's why they have that as a subtle one now too. But with what we have done to them, we want to go back to. Another area that we tackle seriously in Lagos is the issue of cultism. Cultism with the law recently passed by the state governments, which shall make it serious ones, serious offense. The punishment is 25 years sentence. Before, it was just 6 months. And that is why the thing flattened. And after cry to the governor, the punishment is not deterring enough. And that's why we will keep on. So we have to extend the tentacles through the House Assembly. Extended it to punishment to the parents who are aware, punishment according to the landlords who keep them in, punishment according to 2 years imprisonment for the landlord once you have to a known cultist, and it's proved that you know it's a cultist. Equally, the closure of recreational centers, clubs, pubs, where they used to initiate. So we close as many as. All these are the steps that state governments have done through the law, at the instance of the police, and the implementation. So that's why the cultism now has gone down drastically. Though we still have pockets, especially maybe Kurudu axis. But the one we used to have in Motion side, the one we used to have in Fadoyi area there, so they have gone down drastically. The issue of 1 million boys, you cannot say we hear it. 1 million boys again. Because we don't know what we're supposed to do to them. And that's why, so we have that piece. Agege used to be a polling area for them. Olosha used to be another one now. So Adebula used to be. Then Akala. These are the areas that we have all these pockets of. But with the assistance of everybody, we've taken care of them. One of the strategies that we adopted, that if you are big from Agege as commissioner of police, I have the power to detain you at Mejuleki. If you are big at Ekwe, I have the authority to detain you at Kurudu. No, Kurudu here at Badagry. Before they even know that you are Badagry, somebody coming from Ekwe to go and bail you out in Badagry, you know that it's a 2 days journey. You need 1 day to leave Ekwe to go to Badagry. You need 1 day to come back. And God forbid you are unable to prevent the bail that day, then you become a nuisance there yourself. By the time the child gets back home, it's away my eyes, look that again. So, when I was crying sometimes in Bejuleki, the picture, I took them to the border, that's Alabuko side, from Bejuleki. Going to Bejuleki alone is a day's journey. Not from here to Bejuleki is a day's journey. Then you now start another one now to go to Alabuko. So that's why we've adopted all the strategies now to make sure that we keep the city safe. And the city are safe, the city so has been peaceful for us in terms of that. That's part of, I just let one out, part of the strategy that we use. Not that they are fundamental rights. Just like in the prisons authority, somebody will be moved from prison yard in Lagos, correctional center in Lagos, to go and serve his terms in Maiduguri. It could be committed, it's better to be committed in Maiduguri and be taken out to Port Harcourt to go and serve the terms. So if you committed offense in Alabuko, I can as well go and detain you now, so maybe, so at Bejuleki there, you're still within Lagos. Then you can. That's part of. And another issue that we tackle seriously in Lagos is the issue of robbery in traffic. You know, sometimes it came up seriously, robbery in traffic. And that was because of the road reconstruction. The road reconstruction came almost simultaneously. Almost all roads in Lagos were being reconstructed at the same time. And with that one now, the traffic came up. With that traffic now, the boys now took advantage of that, especially the Eco Bridge. But if your bird learns how to fly without patience, hunters will only learn how to shoot armies. Apologies and respect to my elders here. So one decided to do that one too. We went to the board, our drawing board. And now, robbery traffic is something of history in Lagos State. But still that, we still have to be security conscious. But looking there and there, my phone will be taken, my laptop will be taken now, this my bag will be taken now, the traffic now, it has gone down drastically in Lagos. Because we need to strategize, we need to bring out so many men from the offices. But as at that period now, all those home offices were empty. Police collectors and everybody have to be on the road. And that was quite tackled, so with the synergy with the landlord association, because we got to a stage, I had to do what I did when I was Shaman Task Force. That is, removing the gates of the road, some streets. Nobody is saying you should not, as CTA, as landlord association, have gates. But once you have gates in your street, you must provide personnel to only 24 hours. Because you don't know who will need to pass through that in times of emergency. There could be fire incidents. There could be domestic accidents. And family will need medical attention. There could be robbery going on that will need security, even the local security there, and the gates closed. Once the gate is closed now, you have to the key to the landlord. Meanwhile, the landlord just got back from the party, has got to take 2 or 3 bottles. And the landlord was not only sleeping, was already snoring. You knock the door more than 5 times, the landlord was even hearing you. But just take. So the person at the gate here, death may occur. But we have instances where pregnant women now, so 2, so lost their lives at the gate because of labor, when they fell into labor. It could be anybody. So I have to pick all the CDAs, I have to hold the meeting with them now, I have to hold with the CDC that all your gates must be left open as alternative roads. When Road A is being reconstructed, this is alternative road now for them to go out, keep the gates open. Not when they get there, it's very locked. And that's all the strategy that we adopted. So in making the robbery traffic, once traffic moves, robbery traffic will be reduced. Once it moves. So we are next to bring in all the local governments, chairmen, the CDA, the CDC that landlord association will need to open your gates, at least. Calling synergy with the contractors. We went into the time, when is the peak period for this? When the peak period? During the peak period now, we have to slow down. And during the night, we gave additional security for them. So those are part of the strategies that makes the traffic to improve and reduction in. So, in property traffic. Another area now which is put seriously is the school children. When they started kidnapping, and they are still kidnapping children in schools around some parts of the country, we have to be extremely proactive in Lagos. And that's why we have not seen, not by our power, that any child has been kidnapped in any school in Lagos State. Because we have gone a long way in having synergy with the traditional rulers in those areas. The local vigilante group in those areas now, so we enter hall meetings just like this. So give them tips about, and even now held another town meeting with the principals of schools in Lagos State. What they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do. So equally, the schools, the state government, where the fences are as low as going to come in, and those that are the bushes. So we've gone through all these ones now in order to protect our children in schools, to protect the staff in the schools. With this, our schools are fortified. Those in the Riverine area that have gone through times now that are meeting now with the Riverine community. We have our eyes there. And that's why now, robbery on the Riverine area now, it's only 2-3 instances, issue of kidnapping, they escape through the water. But robbery on that, in that, the creek, has drastically gone down. So those that have relatives there, have businesses there, be rest assured that police security is not only for the land, equally for the water side. So that feel free. Experts coming around, and that's another thing that I will know that during experts period now, we have influx of people coming into Lagos. Especially, it was our peak last experts when the borders were closed and the vessels were diverted to Lagos State, to MDA, and with that, we had the health war. But now, so we are synergy with them, because we know that experts. Last year, population was much, but social activities was reduced by COVID-19. We thank God we have survived COVID-19. The vaccines are working, though the vaccine is not. The expert said once you have the vaccine, that does not mean you still forget all those protocols of. But at least the death rate after the vaccine have been introduced has gone down drastically. Perhaps victims. Those medically have challenges, maybe some terminal diseases that has been. So these experts, I know the law we call it organized. I want to assure you that we are factoring in Christmas activities for us to be on the road, for us to have all our engagements, for us to have all our social activities, our religious activities. Rest assured that Lagos is safe. As long on that corner, we need more of your cooperation, more of information, because the tree does not make a forest. And let us always have behind our mind that security is everybody's business. We are just in the forefront. We are just there. We are just using the opportunity, the authority you give to us. But for the social activities that we have, we are sure that Lagos is. We had NSAS crisis last year, and during their 1 year anniversary now, they wanted to do that. There's nothing wrong with anybody protesting. I keep on saying it. The law does not say, before you go on protest now, you must take permission from police. But you must let police know. Because where your own right ends is where somebody else's right starts. Nobody could be compelled to go on strike. Nobody could be compelled to go on protest. So because no compulsion on protest, definitely some people have to do some other things while protesters are doing their own thing. And that's where we have to process the matter. You want to protest, okay, let us know. From where to where? Point A to point B. And from one time to what time. And your protest now, what the activities you want to carry on when you are doing that protest. Thereafter, how do you identify members of that group? Maybe your activities will be, you move from point A, for example, Maryland. Your destination is Garify. Yes, that's the route. And what do you want to do there? When we get there, you want to read their speech, that's activities. When we get there now, we want to distribute leaflets, that's activities. When we get there now, we want to distribute t-shirts, that's activities. What activities do you want to do there? So that we equally guide. You protesters too, you equally require to be protected. And how do you identify you members? You see by t-shirts, you see by color, code, you see by maybe a face cap. We must have this identification so that when you see those that are not part of that, you can still take them out. And you equally provide traffic management so that others that are doing their businesses will be able to. Those are the things. We are not asking everybody not to protest, but let us be in synergy so that you equally guide you. You equally guide other members. And now exactly what happened at the 1 year anniversary at Lekki told it October 20. But when those who actually organized it, the left, we agree between 8 and 10. One, we agree to be a motorcade. You shouldn't come down to address. When they left, people came up. The ministers who wanted to catch that came up. And we have to do what we need to do. Because those actually arrested it, they have left. And that will all led to the arrest so many, the recovery of so many weapons. So that answers, crisis, the burning of palaces, burning of government properties, burning of police stations now, which belongs to our commonwealth, our common property. So I need you now to still talk to the community where we belong to, our youth, our children. Our energy should not be all, should not spend energy on destroying our common property. Because at the end of the day, just like during the school, the universities, when students protest, they destroy so many things. The parents will bear the brunt because they must pay for what they destroy. Once the school is closed, shut down before they reopen. So I want to see for your assistance in passing this message across to our youth. And this is equally related with the issue of drug. NDLA is doing the bid on that drug issue. But we still need assistance because we have had a nexus between drug and criminality. Most people that commit crime, they commit the crime under the influence of drug. By the time they are caught now, and the influence of that drug is no more in that system, you now see who they are. Jelly like. So we need to talk to our youth seriously, so that it's not the best. When there is no job, we don't go into crime. Residential robbery in Lagos has reduced, but that does not mean that we should not block our doors, our windows when we are going to bed. We should reduce as much as possible the volume of our television, the programs, while we are going to bed. And this is a program that we are somewhat fascinated by, especially when balls are being played. We should make attempts to make sure that all our surroundings are well fastened. I have some security tips here, which I'm going to drop because there are many. So to the club, I have almost on residential security, about 30, so which I'm giving points. But ensure you have fire extinguishers, so those areas now, know your neighbors, develop rapport with them, and number to keep an eye on each other's homes, especially when you are on the trip within outside the town. There are many. There's about 40. I have to do the home security while you are away. What do you do while you are away? Secure your home before leaving. Close and lock all windows and doors, garages and gates. Switch on outside lights and replace burnt out bulbs. So ask a friend, colleagues, or neighbor to help check your home periodically while you are away. There are many when you are out. So now we could have personal security tips for our own person, because we need to be security conscious. Once we are security conscious, we have this about to. You are driving a vehicle moving at the same pace as yours. You apply the brake, you see your speedometer 20 kilometers per hour, and that's the rate of that other vehicle. You move to 60 kilometers per hour, the rate of that. All those ones are personal security. Then, if you also not move to any nearest secure place, or you just gone into the supermarket, or going for shopping and coming out, not go straight to the car. At least just take 2-3 minutes afar and watch the eyes that were not there when you got out of the car. Whether you have storage and water. All this is a personal security that we have to. So I have so many here that I have given. So if I start to read, then there's another family security tips. I just put the docket off. So the club leadership to get this one out to members of the club and circulate it around. There are many, at least I have more than 100 points here, different ones, at least about 200 collectively. And equally, office security tips, you work somewhere. What are the security we need in our offices? Install CCTV cameras. And the CCTV camera now, if possible now, install it, not relying on our electricity. Ordinary inverter should be attached to the system so that 24 hours it can work. And that system should be the one that has facility of recording that you can record back, not just CCTV. All these are the security things that we need to know. But I'm just doing CCTV. One that is light out is not going to work. What have we done? Somebody may deliberately go and switch off the light in order not to. Or the location of a generator. You put the gen set where the noise of that gen set will even not let you know that somebody is cutting the gate. All these things are part of. I put all these ones here of office security tips, traveling security tips when I'm going on the journey. What are the basic things you need to know? To know to protect yourself on that. Now, there are other tips about kidnapping. How do you get yourself out of? What are the terms you need to check whether kidnapping is likely to be? So I tell you about 15 of that. Then, the bomb threat scenario. How do you identify that? The tips are here. The road safety, while you are on the road, what are the tips you need to look out for? So many of us out of ignorance. For example, it's an offense for you to want to play a music while a vehicle is in motion. It's an offense. It's not an offense to talk to a driver when the motion is in motion. You don't drive and talk to your wife if your guy is standing away. When your wife is standing, you don't talk to her. When you are not talk or play music. Because statistics have shown that music being played in the car while in motion. Most of us will play the music with which they make for us in the course of one function or the other. We'll be carried away. The musician is singing your praises, maybe during the housewarming ceremony, during your naming ceremony, or maybe shift dancing ceremony. So that's where and unconsciously you start dancing. By the time the 10 fingers will get out of the steering rack, something will happen. 1 second matters. That's why I say don't play music. Even when the bolt of the tire, that is the rim, when it's making noise, making the sound that says it's rolling, but the voice, the volume of the music here, will not let you know that something's happening there. Before you know, the tire will pull off. And once it pulls off, oncoming vehicle now become the victim. That part of the reason I say that you don't play music. Why? Emotion. It's against the law. But how many people know that you don't play music? How many people know that you don't talk to a driver once you are driving, so you don't talk to your wife when you are driving, because you are distracting attention. Yes. That is it. What I said, you are distracting the attention of the driver. As at that time you are talking to the driver, that time you will get to this, oh, see, the top posted this, your phone, showing to you, and why are you looking at this, or you're not looking at this? See what your daughter put on, see what your son put on. While you are driving, that second, that attention is distracting, something will happen. That second, something will happen. Even while you are driving, somebody is there, you move closer to the man on the street before you are on. You're supposed to have about a little distance. When it's there, here, I blast the horn. Not when it's, I'm here with him now, I blast the horn here. If it's lost in thought, they will jump to the vehicle coming in front of you. That's part of things when you're driving. Because if your bonnet, your bumper is closer to the person in front of you, he must have been lost in thought, not knowing. By the time he now blasts the horn, instead of now going to the left, he's coming. But if you have to blast the horn, he will look back to know the distance and where it's safe way to leave the road. But most of us, you're already there before the horn. So instead of to go to the right to leave the road, he goes to the left because he or she thinking of something at the time. All these are the tips that we need when we are driving. I have to. So there are so many of them I put on here. So tips that are driving. And when you go to hotels to relax, what are the things you need to look out for your own security? Or you have hotels that you operate. Because we must travel. God must take us outside our place of work. You get the contracts and you need to open the branch of your business somewhere in Lagos. From Lagos now, you need to move to Abeokuta. You need to go open a branch in Port Harcourt. What do you do? And you cannot carry your house from here to that place. You must be a tenant somewhere sometimes. And what are the tips you need to check when you get to the hotel to your prayer security? All those things are listed in here. If I want to, so you can start reading all of them about 8 pages. All. But I know that it could be simple. I know to come it all now, I supply the emergency numbers. At least I have about 30 emergency numbers here. We have 4 control rooms in Lagos. The control rooms, that's where anytime there's any problem, so we have an Alausa, so we have an Ujubwa, we have what called control 1, control 2, control 3, control 4. That's where the report goes straight up. If somebody calls here, they are in distress, I have to call the controller. The controller now will have to call the DPU or the patrol vehicle in that area. And the operator the second matters. So instead of doing that one now, if you have these lines on your own, dedicated lines, before you call, we have 10 dedicated lines. All the control rooms now, even the federal operations go now, so we have their lines here, which you can memorize, which you can keep in your phones. When there's anything, you easily call. Before you call the 5-10 lines, somebody will pick one there. The lines are 24 hours. But one way or the other, there could be maybe power failure somewhere, but not all of them at the same time, because they are not concentrated in the same place. Even federal operations. We have something that's happening to somebody in Enugu. That's what's happening to somebody now in Kaduna. You are here. Your staff is already in Savannah. There's a problem there. He calls you. Just call the federal operations. You call the CP in that place. So you are ready. You are in Port Harcourt. something's happening to somebody now, so in Akwa Ibom, your staff, or your relatives, or your son, your daughter, who has gone there for NYC, you come, you leave all this money. So I'm going to leave this with the chairman, our president, so that they try as much as possible. They try as much as possible to have it. Because something there, you learn something that's very much I know. So that's my small presentation talking about schools. So our area boys, I don't think land grabbers. Let us stay, we still have coffee in town, please. There's still coffee. COVID-19 coffee is still on. But because COVID has gone down between 12 midnight and 4 a.m., coffee is still on. Minus those who are exempted. Maybe those in the medical, those in the security, those in the media, so maybe transportation especially, so those in haulage of petroleum, or those in container, and those in chains of food distribution. Aside those ones now, nobody else is exempted. So if along the line, one or two of our boys to try to be zealous on the line, on the rest, just call out those numbers and let us know. And my number is only 24 hours. 24 hours. Senior officers, the Lagos State Police Command, for the month of November 2021, because we normally do a lot of transfer posts there and there. So retirement comes in, death in service comes in. So we have from myself, the CP, so all the deputy commissioners we have from Lagos Command, all the staff commissioner of police, all the CSPs, so at the headquarters. Now we now start with area Alpha, so that is the Lagos Island. So area A, that's talking about the area commander, the DPO. So don't feel the future of the Kuyi, only commanding the Adili, the Butil, land building. Those who don't have the area B and Papa, we have Trinity, so we have Mayeni, Kirikiri, Ajebule, Jorabadia, Papa, Abu Kutulu. So area C, Surulere. So Iponri, Abuja, Surulere itself, Orile, Bode Thomas. We have all. Because we have, so first tag, so that's the first tag area. Ojo, trade satellite, Oneleke, first tag itself, Iba. Ikenya we have, so Ikenya here, Makinde, Alausa, Akikwelu, Ojoju, Ilukweju, Musafejo, all these are within the area command. So all the DPOs, all the stations, the numbers are here. So whichever way you have, either the business interest, either the personal one, either the family member that are there now, please circulate it, you will need. Even if the DPO has been taken off away, the area commander number is there. At the area command level, all the senior officers. Because at the area command level, we have the area commander, guided twice area commander, we have area traffic officer, we have area crime officer, we have area operation officer. All of them will move at the same time. At the same time, all of them will move. Even at the station, you have the DPO, you have the TCO, you have all of them can move at the same time. So when you keep this one now, it's a document that's going to be of tremendous help. So you have to do this. So I'm going to present this to you. So for this, thank you very much.